It says the Jews say the Christians stand not on anything. The Christians say the Jews stand not on anything. Is that talking about everyone, or is that talking about the Jews and the Christians?
Yeah, I know. I
My
was about
goodness.
to catch him up too. He know he's lying. Thinking Islam. What's up?
What's up? How you guys doing?
I'm good, man. What's up? You all right?
Yeah,
All right. You want to deal with the topic?
I don't know what the topic is.
Islam chain is broken. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
You don't
What
know what
chain
that
are we
means?
talking about?
What chain? Okay.
I don't know what the proposition
Okay.
means.
I'm about to.
Is this Khalil Andani?
Yep.
What's going on, man?
What's up? I
Okay.
Talked to
actually
you a
was
couple times
listening
on
to that.
Clubhouse.
Oh, okay. I was listening to the last dude before he left. But he's correct in what he's saying. In that when the Quran talks about revelation given to past peoples, including Jews and Christians and anybody, it only uses the word kitab in the singular, never the plural.
So, do you disagree that the Jews and the Christians specifically is referenced as the people of the book to make a distinction in between them and the Muslims?
No, they're both Jews and Christians are all they're both referred to as people of the singular book.
I know,
Yeah,
but he was
and that
saying, hold
same
on, I don't know how long you was here, Khalil. He was saying
okay.
that everyone is the people of the book,
Well,
which is
that's
factually not true.
well, he probably said that because the Quran says in the verse that he tried to quote that God sent prophets to humankind. Like it didn't restrict it to just one people or another. It says humankind was one community, and then God sent prophets as warners and bearers of good news, and he sent down with them, the prophets, plural, he sent down with them the singular book.
Okay,
That's
so
what he was that's what he was saying.
hold on, but is there not different books?
Well, this is the thing, right? In the Quran only talks about a single book being revealed by God. It never talks about God sending different books in the
Okay, so
physical
the
sense.
Quran is the same book as the other previous books, or no?
Yes, because the term kitab in Arabic, although in modern day we translate it as book because we live in this culture full of physical writings, in 7th century Arabia, the word kitab does not actually mean physical book. It means divine prescription. And if you don't believe me right now, that's fine, but I've written an 800-page PhD dissertation from Harvard on this exact topic of what is the term kitab in the Quran and what it actually means. And this is what
Okay,
this gentleman was trying to get at.
okay.
Maybe he didn't articulate it the best, but that's the point. So every time the Quran talks about God sending a revelation to a past prophet like Jesus or John or Moses or whoever, it just uses the singular term kitab. And then it says the same kitab has been sent down to Muhammad. So there's only one revelatory archetype, which the Quran calls kitab singular, and then it just has different manifestations. So the Quran is one manifestation. The gospel revealed to Jesus is another manifestation. The Torah is another
So
manifestation.
why in the Quran does it makes a distinction in between the Torah, the Injil, and also
Yeah.
the Zabur? Why do that distinction happens?
Yeah, because each of these is a different instantiation of the singular kitab. That's why. The instantiations are different. The Quran admits that. But when it talks about what God has actually sent down, it uses the one term kitab book singular over and over because the essence of the messages are the same. The instantiations are different.
Okay, so then that's even a bigger problem for you and more Muslims, right? Because if this, then you are missing a great big. I don't know if you hold to this because you more of a scholarly and you have more scholarly opinions and you're well versed, right? And you know about history and such. So do you
Yep.
hold to the premise that the previous scriptures are corrupted as well, like most Muslims do?
Well, I take a historical approach to previous revelations. So the real question is, do we have today the verbatim teachings of Moses and the verbatim teachings of Jesus? The clear answer is no, we don't. What we have today are later narrations and paraphrases and attributions to Jesus and Moses. Now,
Do your
within
Quran
that,
hold on. Do your Quran confirm these
does my sorry? Can you does when you say does the Quran confirm these? What are these?
books? These different instantiations and paraphrases, as according to you, do your
Well, again,
Quran confirm these within the Quran?
So what the Quran confirms is that within your corpus. So let's take, just for simplicity's sake, if I ask you, do you have the message of Jesus, the teachings of Jesus? Where would you direct me?
So now we talking about books again.
No. I'm just trying to be practical. So what
Yeah,
you guys
that's why I'm
have,
trying
yeah.
to.
So
That's why I'm
yeah.
trying
So
to get to.
you have
So
okay. So you have 4 Gospels, right? And these 4 Gospels are basically their biographies of Jesus, right? Which claim to quote and recount what Jesus said on earth. That's what you have. So you don't have the verbatim words of Jesus. You have the narration of the words of Jesus by other people, like a hadith.
hold on,
Basically, that's what you
hold on.
have.
How do you get the verbatim words of somebody?
How do you get them? Well, either the verbatim words are preserved verbatim or they're not preserved verbatim, in
That's
which
not what I
case they're
asked
just
you.
conveyed.
How would you get the verbatim words of someone passed down to another generation?
So if the people memorize the verbatim words, you can get it that way. But if they didn't memorize the verbatim words, you can't get the verbatim words. You can get the sense of what they said, but
So,
not
are you
verbatim.
saying the only way that people can get the verbatim speech of someone else previously to them is through
Yep.
oral tradition?
Yeah, well, orally or if the verbatim words, whoever said it, if that was written down, then it
Bingo.
was memorized, written down, then you can get it.
Bingo.
Sure.
So what
Yeah.
what misqualifies or disqualifies Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John from writing the verbatim speech of Jesus?
Well, they were not there at the time of Jesus, so they couldn't have written it down.
Who said they wasn't there?
Historical studies on the
No.
Gospels. Neither of them
You
are.
know what?
The authors of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were not eyewitnesses.
That's not
So,
true. That's not true.
well, it is true.
That's
That
not
is true.
true.
That's the
But
that's the
hold on,
consensus of
That's not true at all.
Khalil.
That's the
For the sake
consensus
of argument, I don't
okay.
care about a consensus. We have our church
Okay,
fathers.
so then
This is
we
what I
have a
held to.
difference.
Okay, hold
It doesn't
on,
matter.
Khalil.
But I don't believe in your. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
Fine,
I don't
but
believe in your
I.
secular scholarship either. So
Okay, but I
what?
don't believe in your church fathers.
I don't
So how would you
care. I don't
convince?
care.
Okay,
Just
but
like I don't
fine.
believe in
But
your
how do you
hadiths.
convince? Okay, but I'm not quoting a hadith to
No, I'm
you.
just saying
It's
from if we're going
no,
tit for tat.
but you realize what it sounds like. So if you say to me that I have to believe that the 4 gospel writers are eyewitnesses because the church fathers say so, I get why you believe in it because you believe in the church fathers' authority. But I don't believe in that. So how do you convince a non-believer that the 4 gospel writers were eyewitnesses?
I'm not here to even convince you. I'm granting you your position for the sake of this
Okay.
argument. I'm
All
granting
right.
you for your position for the sake of this argument, right?
Okay.
But
Sure.
do your Quran confirm these writings?
No.
Okay, what does it confirm?
It only confirms the actual teachings of Jesus
That's
that
not
are embedded
answering my
with.
question.
I just tried to answer. You
But
said
that's
what
not
does it
answering
confirm?
my
So
question.
no, it's not the answer that you like. So I'm
No,
going to
that's
tell you
not
again.
answering my question.
Okay, does the Quran mention Matthew, Luke, John, any of these? Does it mention any of your 27 New Testament books? No.
It
So
quotes
you
them.
can't say it
It quotes
confirms
them
it.
verbatim, almost paraphrasing.
No,
It
it does
quotes them.
not.
48:29. Yes, it does. It talks about the
It doesn't
parable of
matter.
the
Does
growing
it?
seed. Hold on,
Okay,
thinking.
very
It
nice.
carries.
But what
So, hold
that's a
on, hold on,
paracope.
hold on.
But that doesn't
Hold
mean the
on.
whole text
It's
is
talking
confirmed.
about the parable of the growing seed, etc., in your Quran.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay, now
it quotes them,
who taught
correct?
that parable?
Oh, hold
Okay,
on.
who
But
taught
do
who
it
taught the
quote them?
parable?
Khalil, does it
Sorry.
quote them?
Technically, no.
Technically,
The Quran
no, it
never.
doesn't quote them.
It doesn't quote them.
Yeah,
It
it
may
does.
convey. It may reiterate a teaching in them, but it's not an actual quote. So let's call it a paraphrase, to be precise.
But where's they getting it from?
So where's who getting what from?
Where's the author of the Quran getting this from?
Well, I believe the author of the Quran is divinely inspired. So I think
Okay,
he's getting it from
and
divine inspiration.
okay,
But maybe you don't believe in that, so you
so
would think you may think the author of the Quran has come across that quote either textually or orally, and he believes it's true, so he reproduces it.
Okay. So did they have these writings in the 7th century?
Yeah, as far as I know, yes.
So in the 7th century, what writings did they have?
No, bro, I'm not going to debate that with you. As
No, I'm
far as I
asking you,
know, the
Khalil.
Christian.
I'm asking you,
Yeah.
what
As far as
writings
I
did
know,
they have?
the Christian canon of the New Testament in the 7th century is the 27 book canon.
Mm-hmm.
Now the form of that's probably closest to the Arabia is probably the Syriac Gospels.
No worries, no worries. Does it?
Yeah,
So
based on
is
the
it
historical
quoting Matthew,
research.
Mark? Is it confirming Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? Then
Not in totality,
don't
because
worry if
in
it's in
fact,
totality or not. Is it confirming these writings?
no.
Okay, so what is it confirming?
It's confirming a subset of the teachings of Jesus that are attributed to him in those
Okay,
writings.
can you
And
provide
actually,
evidence for this?
absolutely. So there's a
Okay,
really good book. Yeah, so there's a really good book called, the title is The Qur'an and the Aramaic Gospel
I'm not
Traditions by
asking about a
Imam.
book. I'm not asking
No,
Bruh,
but
about
that's
that.
but
I'm not asking
we
about
would
that.
like, I
there's a
guess.
book. There's a book
This is
length
just
study.
opinions, bro. I'm
Yeah,
not
can we
asking
get
But
about
an
our
you
argument
really
opinion.
from the book?
okay, guys. So you asked me for evidence. So there's a book length presentation of the evidence of how the Quran engages the four Gospels. Okay, when it has like pie charts and everything. This book, you could find it online on archive.org for free. That book takes a whole bunch of textual examples from these four Gospels, and it has specific places where the Quran either makes a correction to it, or in some cases, the Quran mirrors it.
Okay,
And
so
he even has
he's going on
statistics. So,
conscious
for
edits.
example,
Okay, Khalil, I got you.
sorry,
I got you. I'm not going to fight you
yeah,
over it. Now,
sure. So that's what I'm saying.
can you provide evidence? Right. Well, let me ask you this: how would you
Yes.
prove that your Quran was to come, right, and your religion was to come, your prophet was to come, without using your Quran pre Islam?
So how do I prove Muhammad is a prophet
No,
without
that
using the
your whole
Quran?
religion as itself was to
Yeah.
come, that it was prophesied that Muhammad, Islam, all of this was to come without going in a circle and say, but my Quran says so, outside externally of your Quran.
So by using another scripture or something?
Sure.
Is that what you're asking
Whatever
me?
is at your disposal.
So I, for one, I personally, I don't take that route to prove the veracity of my religion. I
But
don't
your
like say,
Quran
okay,
says
the
that.
Bible.
Your Quran says
No,
that if you want to know, even Muhammad in 1094 it says, if you are in doubt, go back to these people that was reading these previous scriptures. So your
yeah,
Quran gives
sure.
itself a verification test, and the verification test is the previous scriptures. So if it's good
No,
enough for
it actually
Muhammad,
doesn't
if it's
say.
good,
It
yes,
actually
yeah, it
doesn't.
does.
Okay,
Yeah, it does.
does it? Okay, what's the word? The word. It says,
1094.
yeah. So the word is kitab singular, not books.
Okay, it's still part
Yeah.
of the same book according to you, correct?
No. Again, so what all the Quran is committed to is that there's some content, there's a subset of what Jews and Christians have in the seventh
Okay, so
century
what would they
that
have
will
then?
validate yeah, because I'll give you an example.
Hold on,
So
hold on, hold
if
on, hold on. Khalil,
yeah,
listen to me
yeah,
closely. What
yeah.
would you use? What would you use to verify your religion was to come, and not saying, "Oh, just my Quran," and not and verifying that your religion didn't start in the 7th century, because your
Well,
Quran makes claims.
can tell.
Hold on,
Sure,
hold
I
on.
can
Your
tell you.
Quran makes claims that it can go back to Moses, Adam, and such like things. So
Well,
externally, outside of your Quran, what would you
yeah.
use as evidence?
Okay, so there are within the what you call the Old Testament and within what you call the New Testament, okay, there are authentic teachings of Moses, the prophets, and Jesus.
Okay, so you would use our Bible.
Yeah, because embedded within your Bible are the remnant of the authentic teachings of Jesus.
Okay, but you believe
And the
that. Hold on,
Quranic message,
but you
let
believe
me
some of
finish.
them.
Let me finish. So, if we just take Jesus as the example, since he's the most like recent prophet before Muhammad, Um, Embedded within the four Gospels are things that the historical Jesus actually taught.
How do you know he actually taught these?
How do I know?
Yeah.
Because we can study the
Study
Bible
what?
critically, and we can study the four Gospels using the historical critical method,
Okay.
and we
So,
can
but how do
recover that
you, right,
material.
but you believe that they're just paraphrasing and they're just not perfectly preserved and such like this.
Yeah,
Well, how do you know?
it's
Hold
not
on. Hold
verbatim.
on. Well, how do
Yeah.
you know that these people were telling the truth?
Okay, very good. So we can use the same methods that modern historians use to tell us what is the authentic kernel of the Jesus tradition and what are later accretions.
Okay, and
And
what
that
would
will
they be
yield.
using?
So you just read the text with the critical eye and with a
Oh, but how do
comparative
you know?
perspective.
Because these things are not preserved. How do you know what you're reading is original to the text?
Well, again, none of it is verbatim because Jesus didn't
No
speak in
worries, no
Greek.
worries. But how do you
Yeah,
know
but what
this
you
is
can,
original to the text,
again,
Khalil?
it's the same. It's the same way that modern day academic can tell you that with a high degree of probability, the historical Jesus taught certain things. We can recover those teachings. They're still found within your
But
four
how do you
gospels.
know
And
they're authentic to the gospels if there is
I
no
just
preservation to them? If Allah
I didn't
didn't,
say, excuse my friend, I didn't
hold
say
on.
there's no
You're
preservation.
picking and choosing. You're picking and choosing.
No, I'm not
How
picking.
do
No, I'm
you know?
not. I'm
Yes,
not picking.
Khalil.
I'm not picking
How
and
do
choosing.
you know for certain that these what you're
Yes.
reading and you believe are authentic or the true teachings of Jesus? How do you
Uh,
truly know that these are authentic quotes by Jesus?
Using the historical critical method, we can know
That's
with a
just,
high
bro. You just
probability. Let me finish.
you're
Let me
begging.
finish my
Hold on,
answer.
you're
But
begging the
you keep
question. You're
interrupting.
begging the
I'm not
question.
begging.
You're
No,
begging the question.
then I'm sorry. The entire discipline of history is begging the question.
Oh, so
So you don't believe
history.
in his. So you
Okay.
don't believe in history.
No, I
You don't
believe in
believe in the
history.
study.
You don't believe in
No, you
history.
don't. You're telling me
You
that the
don't believe in
historical
history.
method is begging the question.
So what?
That's
So
what
if
you're
you
saying
see
to me.
anything that disagrees with your Quran in these previous scriptures, do you take from them?
My friend, I didn't even tell you that that's how I do
I'm
it
just
because you're
asking
asking.
you a question because I know we're going to
That's
go
a
there in a
different.
minute. I'm cutting off
Okay,
the
but I
middleman.
haven't. No, so I see we're jumping. We're down. So first you asked me how do you verify without using the Quran. So I gave you an answer on how to get authentic teachings of Jesus
You
without
said you
using
was
the
going to
Quran.
use our Bible.
Of course, because
Okay, but
Your
is not
Bible is still
authoritative
what
to
we
you.
have.
But you don't believe that the Bible is authoritative, and you don't believe that
No, but I
is
believe
actually.
the
Hold on,
But I
and you
believe the
don't
Bible is a
believe. Hold
historical
on,
artifact.
you don't believe that the Bible, right, is the truly preserved words of God, and you also believe that these authors are anonymous, right?
They are
Do you
anonymous.
believe in hadiths?
Well, I'm Ismaili, so we don't really have much reliance on hadiths.
So do you? But do you believe in them?
Not really, no.
So you're a Quran only.
No, I'm Ismaili. You know who Ismailis are?
Do you
We
take
have we
any
have
form
no
of hadiths?
we have Ismaili hadith, but our method of what is a hadith and how to get it is very different from Sunnis.
Okay, but you do. Okay, so do you have these certain qualifications in your own hadith science, right? That to know that these things are true and
No, we
accurate that
don't
comes
we
back
no we don't
from
have
Muhammad.
Ismailis. No, Ismailis don't have a hadith science.
So what do
We
you?
have
How do
we
you
have a
know?
different.
Well, how do you know it even is even true that
So,
tracks back to Muhammad? What is the method?
okay, I'll tell you. So, do you know it's something similar to the Catholic idea of a supremely authoritative magisterium?
And
Yeah. So there's a succession. There's a succession
So
of leaders like
now you're
popes
getting beyond critical
that.
history, the
Well,
critical historical method.
as I said, he's asking me from within my religion, so I don't need to use the critical historical method for hadith. We don't
Mm,
even rely on hadith
exactly,
like our
exactly.
community.
So the only
mm.
this is the
We're
point.
not relying on hadith.
This is the
Ismailis
point.
get their
This is the
teachings
point.
from the living
Hold on,
imam,
hold
not
on.
from hadith. So it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, Khalil Andani. This is my very point. For your own
What
within
point?
your own religion, you don't rely on the
Yeah,
historical method within the confounds of your religion.
that's
Within the
not true.
confines. Hold
I
on. You
do
just
rely
said you
on the
don't. You just
historical
said you
method.
don't. Don't double talk.
No, you're asking me about hadith. I don't rely
Don't
on
double talk.
hadith.
Don't double talk.
No, I don't rely on hadith.
Okay, but you said
Anyway,
you have a
one second.
succession that you don't rely upon the
I
historical
rely on the
method.
historical. No, I rely on the historical method to prove the fact of a succession. I do, and I can show you that
And
historically.
within these successions, if someone is untrustworthy, do you take from it or
No, but that's
anonymous?
why it's no, because it's a succession by
Okay,
appointment. It's
thank
sort
you.
of similar to
So
the
do
papacy.
right. So if someone is anonymous, do you take from it?
No.
Thank you. Exactly. Now this
Yeah,
is the
but that's
problem.
my
Hold on.
religion.
Hold on,
But
Khalil.
you're not.
Hold
Your
on,
question
Khalil.
is not
Hold
about
on,
my
Khalil.
religion. Your
Hold on,
question
Khalil.
is about
Because hold on,
your
Khalil.
question.
Khalil.
Okay, so
Don't
you
do that.
take from it.
Hold on, bro. Let me finish. And I'm gonna let you
Okay,
go.
fine.
Just let me finish.
Sure.
This is the
Okay.
thing, Khalil. Now, in order, you don't take unauthentic or anonymous people within your own succession or chain, I'm going to say, within your own religion to verify something as facts. But in order for you to verify that your religion was to come, you're willing to go outside of how you verify things and lean upon anonymous authors. You can't do that because now you're actually going with a double standard, Khalil. Now you have a double standard. Within your religion, you don't take from it. You won't take anonymous people or you won't take anonymous author. But in order for you to verify that your religion was to come, oh, now you're willing to go up outside of this and to take from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John or whatever, whoever, even though they're anonymous. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you're going to stay within the confines of your religion, produce some evidence that your religion have to go back into this succession, back to the real Injil, the authentic Injil, or don't cherry pick from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John to give your religion legs and a basis to prop upon. Either you're going to have it one way or the other. You can't do both.
All right. Can I speak now or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, firstly, the issue of finding out the authentic teaching of Jesus, the reason why that we have to go to an anonymous gospel is because those anonymous gospels are still the earliest historical artifacts that convey the teaching of Jesus. So because you don't have anything that's not anonymous, anyone who wants the authentic teaching of Jesus, they have to go to those documents. But when you say that, oh, I just take from anonymous, no. Otherwise, I would simply accept everything they say in those gospels, period. But I don't. I use the critical historical method as a filter when I read the teachings of Jesus in those gospels.
Bro,
And
that's
by the
just
way,
sophistry.
technically,
You just telling me
you're just,
sophistry
and again,
on
you're
how you
interrupting.
can.
Excuse me.
Hold
I let you
on.
speak uninterrupted, and I only got to speak
Okay,
for a
go
minute,
ahead.
and you
Finish.
interrupted
Finish
me.
up. Finish
Okay.
up.
Now, so that's the only thing at issue. Now, if you tell me that I can't take something that happens to be anonymous as a historical matter, that means like the Jesus historically cannot be recovered because all historians, both Christian historians, non-Christian historians, they all use the historical method on the Gospels. Now, this is of course not comparable to me taking religious teachings from my own tradition because I don't, when I take a religious teaching from the Ismaili leadership, I first authenticate my religious tradition. Then I follow the teachings of the Ismaili leadership. And it's not like how a hadith is transmitted. The imams are not just hadith narrators. So this comparison of you take historical evidence from an anonymous source, but you take your religion from non-anonymous, this is not analogous at all. When I study history, whether it's Muslim history or anybody's history, I've never refused to take an anonymous historical artifact and get information from it. I've never actually said that. And you can like read my own historical academic work. So actually there is no double standard here.
Okay. Okay. Now it is a double standard, but I'm gonna show you how. In the as far as these gospels, this Injil, isn't it part of your religion? Because now you're just giving me sophistry how you allowed to cherry pick. You're just giving me some fancy words on how now you're allowed to cherry pick from anonymously authors, right? That you don't know and you can't verify. You just
Well, I don't cherry
hold on.
pick.
You're
I
cherry
go to
picking.
historians of
So
the historical Jesus. How is
hold
that cherry
on, hold
picking?
on, hold on, hold
No, but
on.
how is that cherry picking?
Because
Explain it to me.
because either you're going to accept them as they are intact And you're not gonna cherry pick and say, "Well, this aligns up, and I can do this,
But
and this
that's how
looks
all
like." Hold
historians,
on, no,
including our
no,
own
no, no, it
historians, do
ain't,
it.
no, it ain't, no, it ain't.
So there's no such
Hold
thing as
on,
a
hold
Christian
on, hold on.
historian?
Is the
No,
Injil?
but
Hold
I
on,
just want to
answer my
know.
question.
No, wait, you're
Hold
shifting
on,
the topic.
hold
Are
on.
you
No,
telling
I'm
me
on
that
topic.
every
You're
Christian,
trying to check,
are
bro.
you telling me that every Christian
Khalil,
Oh,
calm
Khalil.
historian
down,
Dude,
bro.
Khalil.
reads the
Calm
Calm down,
Gospels
down.
man.
Calm
critically?
down. See,
No, but I don't know
is
why
the
you're
Injil?
forcing a
Hold
different
on, bro.
topic.
Is the Injil part of your religion?
Believing that God sent down or revealed a message known as the Injil to Jesus, believing that God revealed it is part of the religion.
Okay, and in one of your, well, you say you're Ismaili. You're not a Sunni, so I don't know
I'm
your
not a Sunni.
imams. I don't know what your imams is, but you are supposed to believe in the previous prophets and their messages, correct?
Yeah, we have to believe in the previous prophets, and we
Okay,
have to
and their
believe in the
messages, correct?
essentials of their
And
message.
their
So
books,
the
right?
fact
And their
we
revelation.
have to, yeah, so we have to believe that God sent revelation to previous prophets.
What does
Yes.
it tell you to cherry pick and just believe some of these?
Well, it tells me that I should only follow what is actually authentically revealed by God, but
It
your
doesn't
four
say that.
gospels,
It doesn't say
yes, of
that.
course,
No,
yes,
it
it
doesn't.
does.
So show me that
Yes, it
from your
does.
Quran.
The Quran says in many verses,
Show me
follow or
it.
judge.
Show me it.
I don't have to show it to you.
Oh, you
Follow
don't
what
have to
God has
show me it. You can
revealed.
just sit up here and just spew out
No,
nonsense
but
without
there's
giving
a
me
famous verse that
any
says
type of
you should
bro.
only judge by what God has revealed.
That
So
doesn't okay.
that's a
So did he
Quranic
reveal?
imperative.
So did he reveal Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John?
No,
Okay. So why
Matthew,
are you
Mark, Luke,
taking
and
from it?
John are not
So why are you
prophets.
taking from it?
Because Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, whoever these people are
Is it the closest thing that you
transmitters.
have the Injil
Because they are transmitters of what was revealed
of
to
the
Jesus. The
Injil?
problem is they don't transmit it 100%.
Okay, so
So I
do
can
you
simply
have any? Hold on.
recover
Do you have
the
any
authentic
manuscripts?
Injil
Now,
in
do you
here.
have any manuscripts, Khalil, of this Injil, the uncorrupted version of it?
I don't need a manuscript of
You
the
don't need
uncorrupted
a
Injil. No,
manuscript,
because
bro.
the
You're
original Injil is
bro.
an
Come
oral
on,
message
Khalil.
from
You're not
Jesus.
being honest. You're not being
No,
honest,
can
and
you?
you're
Why don't you
showing.
come on? What are
We
your
know what
earliest
the Injil
manuscripts?
is.
No,
Me
what
as
are
a
your
Christian,
earliest
we know
Okay,
what
now you
Injil
answer
is.
my
You're invoking this
question.
mysterious Injil. Okay, hold on, hold on,
What
hold
are
on,
your earliest
hold on,
manuscripts?
hold
What are
on,
your
Khalil.
earliest
Hold on,
manuscripts of the
Khalil.
four gospels?
How would the go? So in the 7th century, how would the Christians know what was authentic and what was not in their book?
How would they know what's authentic?
Yeah,
Well,
what methodology would they would employ to distinguish what is true
that's
and
the
what is
problem.
false?
Okay, so the Christians don't know what is authentic and what's not. They think all of it is authentic.
Now,
Okay, so in
in the seventh century,
547, so in
word you asked him
547,
about the 7th century. Yeah.
yeah, this is the 7th century I'm talking about.
Yeah, they
They
don't
didn't
know.
know.
That's the problem. They
Okay,
don't know. The
so in the seventh
Christians have
century, in
yeah,
547, a law says
yeah,
that they need to
yeah.
judge by their Injil, correct?
Yeah, but that's talking about law.
No worries. But did they have Matthew,
Yeah.
Mark, Luke, and John in their Injil at the time?
Yeah, but the Injil in the Quran in Surah 5 and elsewhere, the Injil means the teachings of
Okay,
Jesus.
so where did
That's
they
what the
get the teachings of
Injil is.
Jesus from in the 7th century?
Actually, the Quran right before 547, the Quran states the Torah law, the law of
It says he
retaliation,
came to
and then
confirm the Torah. In
okay,
546,
so
he says
in
he came to confirm the Torah.
correct, but
Yes.
just before, hold on, let me finish. I'm trying to answer your question, but you're not letting me.
No, you're doing a lot of
So,
sophistry right now. I need an
I
answer.
mean, that's your opinion, and frankly, if you invite a guest to your stage, you're allowing the guest to speak, even if you think they're a
I'm
sophist.
letting you
If you think
speak.
I'm a soft,
I'm
yeah, if
letting
you
you
think I'm a
speak.
sophist, then you should kick me off.
I'm letting you speak, but I'm trying to
Okay,
get to the
so
point.
let me speak. I'm trying to answer you. You asked me a question. What about 547? Do you want me to answer the question or
Yeah,
no?
in 547, is it talking about
Okay.
physical scriptures that they would have to stand on according to the
No,
Injil?
it doesn't say, it doesn't make any reference in 547 to a physical scripture.
Okay,
What
so how would they know?
547 again, let me 547 tells Christians to judge by the Injil. Few verses before 547, it tells you what the Injil is. It says that Jesus brought the Injil, which confirms the Torah. Few verses before that, the Quran presents a law within the Torah, which is the
Okay,
law of
so
tallying.
in 7
Okay, so
157, Oh, I
You're
thought you. I
skipping. So
thought
no,
you.
no,
Hold
hold
on. I
on. Now
thought you was done. I thought you was done.
you're
I thought
okay.
you was done.
So
You take long
so
pauses.
547 is telling the Christians in 7th century Arabia to apply the Torah penal law in their disputes, which the Quran states in 540s, says it's in the Torah, and then says Jesus confirmed that same law
No, that's
in
not
the
what it
Injil.
says. That's not what it says.
Actually,
Because in
that
five,
is
hold
what it
on, hold on,
says.
hold on. In 530, Jesus came and says that he had came confirming the Torah. No, I'm sorry. In 350, it says that he had came confirming the Torah, and he was coming to actually make halal some of the things that was halal haram and haram halal. So Jesus actually changed some of the Torah laws according to your own book in Surah 3 verse 50. So it wasn't in 547 how all of a sudden it's going to say you got to hold to this very exact thing as the Torah when Jesus already came and changed the laws from the Torah. So now
That's
it's saying that
totally
you will
fine.
have to
But
lean upon
540, but
this
5,
new
excuse me,
revelation in 547 that Jesus
you're
came.
changing the topic.
No, I'm not. You said
547.
it was pertaining to the
No,
laws.
the whole 540 pericope in the Quran is about Jews and Christians being told to apply the law of Talion. That's all it's about.
No.
It's
So
not
did
about any
Jesus?
other
So in
law.
350, did Jesus come and change some of the laws?
Yes, but that's not
Okay,
relevant to
so now the
547.
Christians is not supposed to abide by that, the Torah, as far as what Moses was given. They are supposed to stand upon what Jesus was given in his Injil.
Very good, but
Very good. So
547,
don't say that they was coming talking
547,
about the
547 is
whole
very
up with the Torah, because in 547 it
547
says let them stand upon
547 is
what
very
they was
specific.
given.
But 547, the whole pericope of 547 and before is just about the law of Talion, and it basically says the Torah has a law of Talion. Jesus confirmed the Torah, which has a law of Talion in the gospel, and Christians are supposed to follow the law of Talion.
No,
That's
that
it.
is not what it says.
Yeah,
That
well, that
is
is
the
what it
Torah.
says,
Hold on, hold on, hold on. Is the
that's what
Torah? Hold
peer-reviewed
on,
academic
Khalil.
articles say.
Is the Torah the Injil, or is it two different revelations?
No, there are two different revelations, but
Exactly. So what
Jesus,
is the? So
yeah,
what in 547? What do Allah tell the Christians to stand upon?
the Injil, but it
The
says the
Injil,
Injil confirms the
exactly.
Torah. But
So hold
doesn't the
on.
Injil confirm the Torah?
Hold on, it confirms it, but then that's why I brought in
Okay, there you
350.
go.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold
no,
on.
but
But that's
that's
why I
it.
brought
That's
in
it. Game. That's game
350.
over.
In 350,
That's it.
Jesus came and he changed some of the laws that was given to the
Yeah, but
children of Israel
350 doesn't.
for as the Torah.
350.
So it's not. Hold
350 is
on,
not.
Khalil.
350
Hold
is
on,
not invoked
Khalil.
in
Hold
547.
on, Khalil. This is all
547
the same.
invokes the
Hey,
law
it's
that they
not my
weren't
fault
supposed to
that
follow.
your Quran is written like
Oh,
and
see,
got all of these things,
my
revelations
friend,
mixed
when you
up.
don't have an argument, you turn to
No,
ad
I'm not
hominems.
ad
Yeah,
hominem nothing. You know
yeah,
that
yeah.
the Quran. Hold on. You know that the Quran is not in chronological order. You have to piece and put these a lot of these scriptures together to
Yeah,
get you the context of what is
that's no
actually going
problem.
on.
Yeah, I've never said it's in
Okay,
chronological
so
order,
thank you.
but
So
the
if we
verses in
seeing, hold on,
540,
hold on. Let me
the
finish, and I'm
verses
gonna
in
let you go.
540 are in
Let me let you
chronological
go.
order. They're
I'm gonna
part of the
finish, and
same
I'm
pericope.
gonna finish, and I'm gonna let you go. Okay. So if we see in the same context that Jesus came confirming the Torah, right? But then he's also giving a new laws that he's making halal some of the things that is halal haram, right? Then we can already know, and then putting that together with 547 that, and then Allah is saying that you should stand upon the Injil, not the Torah for the Christians. He says you should stand upon the Injil. Then naturally, this Injil in 547 is actually prescribing something different for the Christians than they was for the Jews.
Again,
So once again, I
doesn't
ask
say
you,
that.
once again,
547.
that's what he
So
says.
I thought you were gonna let me
I'm
speak.
gonna ask you a question, then I'm gonna let you go. In
Okay.
547, is they the Christians, right, that was supposed to stand upon the Injil, right? Is that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John from your historical context?
No, the Injil, both historically and Quranically, is the teaching of Jesus.
And where do we find the teachings of Jesus, Khalil?
You can find the teaching of Jesus embedded within the Gospels, but they're not
And embedded
coextensive with the
within what?
Gospels. Within the Gospels that
And
you
what is the
have.
Gospels?
I already told you.
What is the
Your
Gospels?
four gospels. Your four
Okay, so why
gospels
you saying
are
no?
anonymous.
So why you
I didn't
saying
say
no? You
no.
double talking, bro. First you saying
Oh,
no,
bro,
it's not
I don't. I
Matthew,
think
Mark,
you
Luke, and
just. I
John that the
think you.
Christians had.
It's not.
But then you come
Okay,
back
what is the
around and
word?
say that the Injil is what the Christians had.
Oh my God, my friend, you are totally misrepresenting me. Like
No, you're
seriously.
double talking, bro.
No, that's your empty claim. That like this is how you're uncharitable to your guests. There's
What do
no
you
need to be
mean I'm
like that.
uncharitable?
You're being totally uncharitable.
No, no,
Completely.
I'm just taking what
You
you're
just
telling
attribute to
me.
me things. You attribute to me things I didn't
So
say.
you didn't
You
say,
misconstrue what I
hold on.
said.
So you didn't say that the closest thing that we have to the Injil is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
I'm gonna repeat my position again, just on the odd case that you really didn't understand it, and then I have to go make dinner.
I understood
So
everything you said to
this
me.
is okay. So according to the Quran, and even according to your Gospels, the original meaning of the term Injil or Evangelion in Greek is not a biography about Jesus. It is the actual words spoken by Jesus. That's what the Injil is. That's what Evangelion is. Now,
So hold on,
those
is biographical content
yes.
is what disqualifies it from being the Injil?
Okay, so I'm gonna
I'm
repeat.
just trying to get the gist of what you're
Because
saying. Is
unless okay,
biographical content
unless
is what is
yeah.
disqualifying it from being the Injil?
Yeah, so for
Oh,
example,
okay.
if I write a story
Mm-hmm.
about Jesus, or if Mark writes a story about Jesus, that is actually not the original meaning of Injil, because Jesus didn't go preaching Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, unless you think he did, which is a ridiculous belief. Jesus preached a particular message. Mark actually calls that the Evangelion, and the Quran also calls Jesus' message the Injil. So that's what the Injil actually is. The next question is, in what form is the Injil available? Is it preserved verbatim? No, it's not preserved verbatim. It's preserved basically through narration. And it's not a pure narration because attributions have gotten added to what
Mm-hmm.
you have in
Okay.
your four gospels. So you don't have the pure Injil. What you have is authentic Injil mixed with later accretions.
Okay.
That's
So
it. That's very easy to understand.
let's see if you're gonna hold that same standard to you, because you just fried your Quran by you saying that. Because according to 17 verse 1, it says, "Glory to be the one who took his servant by night from the sacred mosque to the father's mosque, whose surroundings we have blessed, so that we may show him one of our signs. Indeed, he alone is the all hearing and all." Is that biographical content in your Quran?
It's a statement about Prophet
Is
Muhammad.
it
Sure.
biographical?
I don't know if I would call it biographical. I
Is
mean,
it? Is it? Hold
it's
on.
technically
See
not
now, look at you.
biographical because
Is
the
it
Quran
biographical?
is
Is
not.
it telling a
No,
story? Is it telling a story about the prophet in the Quran?
so technically the Quran is not biographical in the genre
I know
because
you're
it's not a
saying this. I know
biography.
you're saying
What?
this. But
Okay,
as
does
far
that
as
make
17
sense to
verse
you,
1,
or
I
do you
know
want
what
to?
you're saying.
Okay,
But as far as in 17 verse 1, is this in a biographical context of a law saying, giving some type of biography?
no, I don't. I don't think it's a biographical context. What it
What
is
is
that
it
the
then?
Quran. Well, I'll tell you, the Quran makes reference to events that are going on contemporary to its revelation. That's all it is.
What? So
It's
hold
but the
on.
Quran is not a
This is
biography.
isn't
It
this?
doesn't
Hold on.
begin.
Isn't
Does the
this
Quran
speaking?
begin with Muhammad
Hold
was
on,
born
thinking.
here and then his parent was so and so? No.
Isn't this speaking in past context?
Sure.
So
But that's just a
is that
reference to
biographical?
events. No, it's not biographical
All
because
right, man. You
biographical
being
is a
dishonest,
genre.
bro. You being dishonest. You being dishonest,
Yeah,
Khalil.
this is
I
tough.
You
think I'm
being
not giving
dishonest,
you.
man.
I'm not giving you the
Watch your
answers you
head, bro.
want.
Get out of here.
Watch your head. Watch your head down. Just get. Watch your head. Watch your head. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Get out of here.